Welcome friends to the 2026 Toyota Sienna. We have some new updates to talk about, but as always, stay tuned until the end of this video where I'll be sharing with you how you can save between $1,000 to $2,500 off the MSRP on 2025 Siennas. All right, let's get started here. So for 2026, the entry-level LE trim level now gets a lot of new standard features. Number one, the audio system, it gets upgraded from a 6-speaker unit to an 8-speaker audio system. We also get the rear window shades. That's great to see. We also get an auto dimming rear view mirror with the HomeLink universal transceiver. Additionally, we will also get the power rear lift gate with the jam protection as standard, along with the windshield de-icer, the black roof rails, and you also get a 1-year remote connect trial subscription, all as standard for the LE base trim level. Now the XLE trim, that's the next step up. That's one of the trims that I personally recommend. And for 2026, the XLE now adds standard black roof rails and the JBL audio as a standalone option. That's great. I'm glad that they are not gatekeeping the JBL audio for the top trim levels. I really hated when car companies do that. They're now at least making it a standalone option, but sadly with the Sienna, the JBL does not sound that great, so it's not really worth the upgrade. And that's truly sad because the JBL audio system does sound great in vehicles like the Grand Highlander, the Tacoma, the Tundra, the 4Runner, but just not in the Sienna. Anyway, we have the Woodland trim. It now gets Ice Cap as an available exterior paint color. And then the XSE trim, which is another model that I recommend. This is like your sporty Sienna. It actually does come with retuned suspension to help it handle better, so that's pretty cool. But for 2026, the XSE, it now upgrades its audio system to the JBL. So you simply just get that as standard now. It's a 12-speaker unit with a subwoofer and an amplifier. Anyway, the heavy metal exterior paint color, it is now available on the entry-level LE model, the XLE, the XSE, the limited, and the platinum trim levels. These vehicles, they are still available in either front-wheel drive or with the electronic on-demand all-wheel drive system. These are still hybrids across the board for every trim level. With the front-wheel drive models, you'll be getting about 36 mpgs combined. With the all-wheel drive, around 35 mpgs combined. And it is true, you will be getting excellent fuel economy with the Sienna. And when you move up in trim level, you can get features like a vacuum cleaner or a fridge box with things like the platinum. But honestly, I don't really recommend overpaying for this. I think the XLE and the XSE, I think that's where the best value proposition is at for these vehicles. Now the 2026 Sienna, it should be arriving at Toyota dealerships in January of 2026, and prices have gone up slightly compared to last year. So depending on the trim level, the price increase, it's going to be different, but across the board, it's going to be a couple $100 increase compared to last year. And I do have the official prices. I'll have that listed on the screen for you to check out. The front-wheel drive base LE, it's going to start at $40,120, and a top-of-the-line platinum all-wheel drive, that's going to be $57,510. So that's your range, but make sure to add $1,495 for the destination charge to all of the prices listed. Something like an XLE front-wheel drive, it's going to be around $44,820. If you want all-wheel drive, you have to add $2,000 to pretty much all of these trim level prices. However, something like the Woodland or the Platinum, it's going to come standard with all-wheel drive. Regardless of that, I'm going to have the full Toyota press release on the screen for you to check out. That way you will know everything there is to know regarding the Sienna. And I've already done a full in-depth review regarding the 2025 Sienna Platinum. I'll have that video linked in the description box as well. Honestly, a pretty forgettable driving experience. I actually even forgot that I reviewed a Sienna. That's how forgettable the driving experience is. I actually had to go back and watch my own review to remember my take on the vehicle. And yeah, the driving experience, it is bland. However, the biggest pro regarding the Sienna, it's the sheer amount of interior space. It's like a small apartment inside. Absolutely incredible. In the second row, okay, I am 5'11". If I push the seats all the way back, I can genuinely extend my legs straight back there. I have the same amount of space as I do in a Bentley Bentayga extended wheelbase. So that's impressive. Getting in and out, that's great. The Sienna actually gives us separate physical controls for the HVAC. So everything is intuitive, everything is easy to use. You have plenty of cubby spaces. The interior doesn't feel like a tank by any means, but it's a nice practical space. It's just an easy vehicle for a family to live with. Now, when I drove the Sienna, I noticed that it was not the most refined vehicle. I think it's because the Sienna has a ton of glass all around. It's very easy to drive and to see out of. However, you do get more like road noise and things of that nature, especially compared to something like the excellent Toyota Grand Highlander. So the Sienna, it's not a cheap vehicle by any means, but the driving experience doesn't quite match the high MSRP that the Sienna commands. However, on the flip side, the Grand Highlander, it actually feels like a driving experience that's above its MSRP. And that's why I was so high on the Grand Highlander. It kind of bridges the gap between Toyota and Lexus. And it was a more refined, quieter experience compared to the Sienna as well. So it's just something to think about. If you just need a ton of space, the Grand Highlander can also provide that to you. Once again, I'm 5'11" and I can fit comfortably in all 3 rows of the Grand Highlander. Of course, I can do the same in the Sienna as well. And really the beauty of the Sienna is you can also like get in and out of all 3 rows pretty easily. So don't get me wrong, the Sienna is a phenomenal package, and one that once you get over the price, once you decide to purchase this thing, you will be rewarded with a large, practical, fuel-efficient vehicle with really good resale value. So that's the main highlight, and that's another reason why I recommend not really overpaying for this. Yeah, when I see a lot of these minivans out on the road, they are typically top of the line trim levels like the Platinum, but the value is going to be with the XLE and the XSE, as I mentioned before. And as I promised at the beginning of this video, here's how you can save between $1,000 to $2,500 off the MSRP on the 2025 Sienna. You can reach out to Jim. Jim is one of the largest Toyota brokers in the United States. He primarily has dealerships in the Pennsylvania and California areas, although as of recently I believe he does have some dealerships in other areas as well, so definitely text him and ask. But the dealership with the best pricing is actually in Pennsylvania according to Jim. And yeah, around $1,000 to $2,500 off. It depends on the trim, but he can do that for the Sienna and also for the Grand Highlander hybrids as well. For the longest time, these vehicles were trading for sticker price or really even above sticker price. So now we actually have some real discounts with Jim's partner dealerships. So if your local dealerships are giving you a hard time and you really want something like the Sienna or the Grand Highlander, well, there you go. Consider reaching out to Jim. He does charge a broker fee, although I'm not sure if he's actually included his broker fee into these discounts. Sometimes he does that. But either way, if you're going to text him and reach out to him, definitely mention my channel because he will take $50 off of his fee when you mention my channel. So I really appreciate him doing that for my audience. And also, if you're not local to Pennsylvania or California or any of his other partnered dealerships, he can help you arrange nationwide shipping. That's actually what most of his clients do. That's what I did personally. I bought multiple vehicles from Jim, had them shipped over, never had a problem. Why? That's because, you know, if you're living in a place like the Southeast, yeah, the Toyota banks and even the Toyota dealerships, not that phenomenal to deal with. So the savings provided to you from Jim, it actually kind of goes beyond just the money off the MSRP. His partner dealerships also have pretty low dealer dock fees, so that helps. And Jim has multiple different buying methods available to us, which is not really available to us locally. Like he has a lot of partnered credit unions. He can do leases, not just through Toyota Financial, but also through Ally Bank, US Bank, etc. So there's a lot of flexibility and various ways to save when buying through Jim. Just a lot of different methods available to us. And of course, his biggest discounts, that's going to be on things like the Toyota Tacoma, the Tundra, the gas-powered Grand Highlander, the Crown, including the Crown Signia. He's got about 10% off the MSRP on those. And even the Camry, big discounts on those. They lease out really cheap, around $300 a month. So yeah, genuinely some of the best Toyota pricing in the country. You can check out his reviews on the Leasehackr forum. That's where his contact information is as well. Of course, I'll have that linked in the description box of this video. He simply has a phone number. You just text him what you want, mention the vehicle that you're interested in, the zip code where you're going to be registering the vehicle, your buying method, and your approximate credit score, and Jim will get that process started for you. And once again, check out his reviews as well on the Leasehackr forum and also on his Facebook page as well. Everything is linked below. If you found value with this content, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you again for watching. Take care and goodbye.